Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon, not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video, but we're going to talk about the rampage of David Zaslav tearing through Warner Brothers. And, we've covered DC Comics at length. We've covered CNN and all the pruning that David Zaslav is doing. And I don't think David Zaslav has forgotten about Cartoon Network. Eventually, he's going to work his way over there too. And we're going to talk about that, what could possibly happen. A lot of people in the animation industry fearful of the axe falling on them. I mean, Zaslav is not averse to cutting projects that are almost done. It doesn't matter how far along in the pipeline these projects are. Zaslav will cut it. He axed the sequel to Scoob. It was 95% complete, and he didn't care. Just like Batgirl, he did not care. He chopped it. And there are several other announced series in development that I think are probably on the chopping block, if I had to guess. I don't know for sure, but I would say the adult Velma is definitely a candidate for cancellation. The only thing that might save it is being a Scooby-Doo spinoff, but it could be brand damaging. I mean, Zaslav has no problem chopping things that he thinks are going to be brand damaging, like the Batgirl movie. And so they're doing a preschool Scooby-Doo puppy thing, and then they're doing this Velma thing. And he might decide, hey, this isn't going to work. Also, the Pebbles adult reboot, that's another one that I think might get gone. I don't know. And it doesn't matter, again, it does not matter how far into production you are. Zaslav could just pull the plug tomorrow, and a lot of people are fearful for their jobs. And we're going to go out to this article on Cartoon Brew, which is actually a very good article talking about the kind of the state of Cartoon Network right now. We know Tom Asham got gone just a couple weeks ago, month ago, and he's going to restructure Cartoon Network. I think Rooster Teeth, personal opinion, I think Rooster Teeth is on borrowed time. It would not surprise me at all if Rooster Teeth just got folded into Warner Brothers Animation or Cartoon Network, and they just kind of kept the IP. I mean, they're already rebooting Ruby in Japan with actual anime, and it looks pretty good from what I've seen. I haven't watched any episodes. Is it out yet? I don't even know if it's out yet. But what I've seen of it, the trailer, it actually looks pretty decent. I mean, they might just keep Ruby as an IP and then just ditch the rest. I don't know. So we're going to talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 274,000 subs. Thank you for the support. Speaking of support, pretty soon we're going to be launching Crimson Wren Volume 1. If you like animation, well, you're in luck. It's not an animated project. It is a comic book, a graphic novel, over 130 pages, and it's actually being drawn by Jose Garcia, who has worked in animation companies like Cartoon Network, ironically enough, DreamWorks, Nickelodeon. He's done a lot of projects for, and it's some beautiful, beautiful stuff. We can't wait to bring it to you. Geeky and I wrote the script. Jose's doing the art. And it's awesome. It really is. I'm not just tooting my own horn. Maybe a little bit. Toot my own horn here, maybe a little bit. But go out to Indiegogo, sign up to be notified when it does go live. Let's talk about this. Before we get into the article, I got to bring this up. This is Jason DeMarco from Adult Swim. I don't know what his role is now. Adult Swim, Warner Animation. He's the anime guy, right? And on August 1st, and this is before the major bloodbath began at Warner Brothers. He said, honestly, some days you get up and read about the state of the country and think about the capitalist mess we live in that's literally destroying the world, and the cognitive dissonance you carry as you go on with your workday. It's just crushing. It's no wonder so many people are falling into conspiracy theories and extremist thinking. At a certain point, any idea that isn't well where F starts to sound appealing. Sorry, y'all, I had to express what I'm feeling. Not very hope punk of me, I know. This sounds to me like the tweets of someone who knows they're on borrowed time. And again, I'm not delighting in that. I'm not, belittling anybody getting fired. But I think the people working at Warner and especially in animation and comics, which are kind of disposable, I think they know that they're disposable. I think they know when Zaslav is canceling 95% complete animated films that it's bad. it's going to be pretty bad. And he hasn't even really started on Cartoon Network yet. But this article on Cartoon Brew, let's go out to this. Confusion reigns over future of animation at Warner Brothers Discovery. Warner Brothers hosted its Q2 earnings call on Thursday in the middle of a tumultuous week, which saw the company make a series of high-profile film and TV cancellations that had many worried about the future of animation at the company. They said that they're paring down Warner Brothers, but they didn't come close to clearing up all the questions surrounding animation. It did offer plenty of clues about where the company is headed. Is it all doom and gloom? No, I think Cartoon Network is going to stick around as a brand. I think Adult Swim is going to stick around as a brand. I think they're going to milk Hanna-Barbera and their back catalog, Looney Tunes and Scooby-Doo and all that kind of stuff. But are we going to see another Infinity Train anytime soon? No, I don't think so. I'm going to be honest. I really don't think we're going to see anything innovative come out of Cartoon Network or Adult Swim anytime soon. I think they're going to play it safe for now to make money. And that probably means a shit ton of Looney Tunes stuff and, milking all these shows, these classic IPs. Across the internet, people are lamenting the demise of animation at Warner Brothers, but based on the information presented during the earnings call, reports of the company's animation decline may have been exaggerated. That's not to say there won't be cuts or even major cuts to animated productions across Warner Brothers. However, there seems to be a great deal of misinformation and conjecture floating around. Again, I don't think they're getting rid of Cartoon Network. I think they're absolutely going to trim Cartoon Network. And based on some of the tweets from people working at Warner, I think they know that, changes are coming. So here they're talking about HBO Max, which sucks because they actually they had Infinity Train, they had Close Enough, they canceled that. We're going to spend significantly more on HBO Max products. In other areas we'll spend less because we're not finding an effective return. It's entirely possible that the Warner team sees animation as one of the areas that isn't providing an effective return, but it feels premature to assume animation falls into that category based on available information. No, I think it does, because animation is incredibly expensive. I mean, how quickly things change. Remember, during the pandemic, it was all, cartoons are going to save us, animation's going to save us because we can work from home and we can do that. And now all of a sudden it's like, animation's expensive. And David Zaslav is a guy who's used to getting a lot of return on very little investment. They do a lot of reality TV. You can just film idiots being idiots and make the same amount of ad revenue as you would spending $500,000 to $1 million an episode on an animated series. And he's looking at that. Why are we going to shell out this much money for animation when we can just go film some rednecks or something and throw them on TV and we're going to make more money in ad revenue? More people are going to watch that than Infinity Train, unfortunately. And Infinity Train was a good series. I'm just saying. I'm using that as an example. Why is everyone freaking out? Much of the furor regarding Warner Animation comes from announcements earlier this week that the nearly finished Scoob 2 Holiday Haunt and third season of Little Ellen both got the axe. Also Close Enough. With the cloud of those cancellations looming, stress will likely multiply when those watching the call saw a slide titled Course Correction Measures Initiated, in which Wiedenfels outlined as a restructuring of the content portfolio for scripted, linear, kids, and animation direct to HBO Max films and internal or international local content. Course correction. Shutdown of CNN+. Restructuring of content portfolio for scripted, linear, kids, and animation direct to HBO Max films and international. More balanced approach to extend content licensing while protecting certain key properties. This is also probably going to apply to DC Comics too. More balanced approach to extend content licensing while protecting certain key properties. Like licensing out the rights to the comics, maybe licensing out some of our portfolio to other animation studios or to other, game companies or whatever, but also making sure that these franchises don't get ruined. Making sure these franchises don't get ruined. So yeah, you should be concerned. Implementing an HBO Max distribution strategy aimed at wider availability, Greater accountability, alignment, and communication across businesses. Greater accountability. Speakers could have been much clearer about where the future investment in the content will go, seeing as they weren't. It's a little wonder people are worried. No, because I don't think Zaslav knows what he's going to do yet. I mean, he went on this tour and he talked to people from different companies and he's kind of getting together a plan, but they're basically, this is all about numbers. They're going to look at what it costs to produce the content. How many people are watching the content? How much ad revenue or merchandise sales come from the content? You know, if you've got a show that maybe it doesn't have a massive audience, but they buy a shit ton of merch, you're probably safe. If your show is incredibly expensive and it doesn't move merch, and even if you have people watching it, but not enough people watching it, like Steven Universe, you know, let's be honest, Steven Universe merch never sold. It was on clearance almost immediately. That wasn't the audience that bought toys and stuff like that. You're gonna get axed because they don't have $500,000 to $1 million an episode to spend on this shit. Where does the feature division Warner Animation stand? According to Zaslav, feature film companies within Warner are a major part of the organization's plan going forward, but conditionally, any film produced by a Warner company will have to be theatrical quality. And the company will only release films when they think they're ready. So don't hold your breath for another Adult Swim movie anytime soon, I'm thinking, because it's not really something that's going to have mass appeal. All Warner films will get an exclusive theatrical release. So he talks about that. Here's a reporting structure. You don't see Cartoon Network on here anywhere. That's interesting. What about TV and streaming? What does the future hold for Warner Brothers Animation and the company's Turner networks like Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, and Boomerang? This is where things get cloudy. In April of this year, Warner Brothers Discovery cut scripted programming development at TBS and TNT. That means they got rid of Close Enough, which was, well, technically that was HBO Max. It was supposed to be on TNT, I guess. Questions lingered and linger still about the future of some of those networks' ongoing original series. American Dad moved to Warner Brothers Discovery's TBS from Fox and was renewed for 2 more seasons. Their belt-tightening measures on Turner Networks raised new questions about the show's future. During the earnings call, Wiedenfels outlined the strategies that didn't work for Warner under previous leadership. That'd be Jason Kilar. Pointedly, he called out significant incremental and loss-making content investments for Turner Networks. Specifically, content spend on shows that did not have a path to generate sufficient ratings or incremental monetization potential. Are we spending $500,000 to $1 million an episode on Tumblr fan fiction? Are a lot of people going to watch this Tumblr fan fiction? And will those people buy anything? Will they buy anything? That's the question. You know, that's what he's going to ask. At the end of the day, that's all he cares about. You know, again, you can have a show that maybe has a small but dedicated fan base that's going to buy a shit ton of t-shirts and action figures and merch and stuff like that. And you're probably safe because they're going to look at that. But, you know, like Steven Universe is not going to happen again anytime soon because the extra money is not there. You know, Steven Universe was a luxury item. A lot of these shows that were getting picked up by Cartoon Network, and a lot of them never really went anywhere. But they were shows that were produced because other content like Teen Titans Go was bringing in the views, bringing in the ad revenue, toy sales or whatever the hell it is. Nickelodeon, if it wasn't for SpongeBob, they'd be effed, completely effed. Sounds bad. It's also vague. Sweeping cuts were planned from the company's TV division. Would Warner have commissioned so many animated productions this summer? I think this is personal opinion. I think this is before Zaslav got hands-on. I think they were just kind of business as usual. Tom Asham was there, I believe, when this happened, and now he's not. Examples include 2 Scooby-Doo series. Was this Chelm, The Smartest Place on Earth, Batman Azteca for HBO Max, Latin America. Okay, that makes sense. Rick and Morty, the anime, that's probably safe because Rick and Morty merch sells really well. And Driftwood. Does Warner's change in strategy present any potential advantages for animation fans? For the glass half full types, the comments could indicate that any show, animated or otherwise, that does generate sufficient ratings or proves potential for monetization is safe. While speaking about exploiting legacy content, he name-checked Looney Tunes and Hanna-Barbera. We're home to many of the most iconic brands, but they're going to protect those brands. Having an adult Pebbles series doesn't protect the legacy of the Flintstones. You have Flintstones vitamins in one hand, and Pebbles having very adult sex on TV right next to that. Same with Velma. Velma does not protect the brand. When you put Velma up against the Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Pups, and Scooby-Doo toys sell really well, they always have. This is going to damage the Scooby-Doo brand, absolutely, and I think it's going to get cut. That's personal opinion. If it were me, I never would have greenlit it in the first place. I would have been like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you making Scooby-Doo adult? Is it possible we might see Scoob Holiday Haunt and Little Ellen someday somewhere? Does anybody want Little Ellen? It was 95% finished. If they aren't allowed to wrap up the final 5%, it seems unlikely the film will ever see the light of day, at least through official channels. But it's not out of the question that a third party like Netflix will step in. They can't. Netflix can't. I don't think they would. Netflix has already done this with Nimona, which was orphaned by Disney after they took over the studio and shut it down. Yeah, but my understanding with Nimona is they had to start over. They couldn't use the blue sky. They're basically getting another shot at making a Nimona movie. That, again, this is my understanding. Trust me, Stevenson's not talking to us after the She-Ra stuff. But my understanding is they basically had to start over. Blue Sky, I don't think, gave them any of the footage. They had to start over. So it's another adaptation of Nimona based on the source material. Maybe they got to use a script or something, but I don't know. That's my understanding. I do not see Netflix, because they're a competitor, being able to finish this. What about DC Animation? They don't say. They're cutting stuff. Final thoughts. We're not arguing that anybody or any project is safe at Warner. They're not. Based on the information that is currently available, in the context of recent announcements made by the company, it does feel like maybe the sky isn't falling. No, I think you're being too optimistic. Personal opinion, I think you're being too optimistic. I think Zaslav is going to look at everything. A lot of stuff they've greenlit at Cartoon Network in particular over the past 5 to 10 years has been garbage that has not brought in any money. And this is ending. So I think, unfortunately, we're going to see a lot less chances being taken. We're going to see a lot of reboots and re-reboots, but that is what is safe right now. I'm going to wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.